Here we are at the set of Football Night in America. Rodney Harrison, Tony Dungy, Mike Tirico. Lil Wayne sends his regrets. He had some travel issues today. What a day it was. And it gets started. We're in the viewing room watching the pregame shows, and we see this Odell Beckham Jr. interview. And my goodness, had you seen anything like that?
No, I was actually, you have to be wary of the media. You have to understand what their job is. A lot of times, guys like you, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get information. You're trying to poke these guys. And Odell Beckham, I was very disappointed because he doesn't understand the impact that he has. He doesn't understand how powerful his presence is in that locker room. And for him to say the things that he said about his teammates, Coach, I completely disagree with him.
Yeah, I did not understand it. To me, you're very frustrated. We all understand that. In those times, you have to be extra careful. And you can't go to the media and let out your thoughts and then talk about everyone else but yourself. We're all about winning. All I want to do is win, but talk about the reason why everybody else isn't coming through to allow the Giants to win. It was very disappointing.
You always want to hear an athlete give you the honest answers as opposed to the canned stuff. I think those of us, you say guys like you to Mike, guys like us, always want to hear that when we talk to players, especially star players. But what damage does it do to your team? And if those things weren't covered in your locker room, why air them in that forum? It bothered me that Beckham, you know, of course, the interview's about you. He mentioned himself 120 times in an 8-minute interview. That's part of the problem. There are so many guys. Why can't Eli get him the ball downfield? Do you think Pat Shermer doesn't want to get Odell going deep downfield? The offensive line doesn't give him the time to. This is the ultimate team game, and this was the ultimate individual conversation that was had that I don't think helps the team just from on our side, on the outside.
And one of the things that drives me crazy is when that excuse is given to a guy. Well, he was just answering the question he was asked. You have to be able to work your way through potentially treacherous waters and know how to answer questions without saying things that make you look bad. And if the Giants didn't have confidence that Odell Beckham Jr. could do it, why are you making him available? They surely were aware and involved in this, and they were okay with it.
You think they were?
I don't think during the season you can pull that off without letting the team know about it.
I don't know. Sometimes you can circumnavigate the public relations channels and go to a player, and you know, if they have other relationships with Lil Wayne was there. You know, I don't think the Giants helped set that up. So perhaps they were able to do this outside of the auspices of the Giants.
Let me just say this. This is the point. If you don't have anything positive to say in the media about one of your teammates, you shouldn't say anything at all. And that's what coaches always would tell us.
You do. And, you know, you guys hit the nail on the head about honest answers. But that's my if those were honest answers, that's not a good light. He's not putting himself in a good light. If he honestly believes that he's not getting a chance to do what he can do because other guys can't perform, because the coaches don't have a good plan.
But what benefit is it going on a show and talking about your teammates?
Oh, it helped him. It helped him today. He claimed responsibility after the game. I know, but they showed heart and effort and grit. It's all about
his big
Rodney, walk us through, and Tony, because we haven't been in locker rooms. Walk us through the situation of a guy's not happy, he's not getting the ball enough, he's frustrated. What's the proper channel for the team to handle something
Mike, it's no different than us being on set. If I have an issue with Coach, if I have an issue with Mike, I'm going to pull Mike to the side. I'm going to pull Coach to the side, and we're going to try to work out those differences as grown men. I'm not going to go to another radio station or something like that and try to air out Mike Tirico. I'm just going to talk to you, and hopefully we can come to a resolution. If we can't come to a resolution, then we have to agree to disagree. But I'm not going to air anything out in public.
We got any issues that I don't know about? Are we okay?
Yeah, you're just getting a little gray.
But, no, I was a head coach for 13 years. Every year I started out the very first meeting. You lay down the ground rules, what you expect, and one of the things you say is, hey, if you have an issue with anything that's going on with coaching, with the game plan, come in, talk to me about it. We'll get it resolved in here. If you have an issue with something with your teammates, you talk to them in the locker room. It doesn't go outside to family, it doesn't go outside to fans, it doesn't go outside to the media. It's all handled in here. We keep it in here, we can resolve it.
And Tony, did anyone do that in Indy or in Tampa?
Always.
With your team? They would
Absolutely.
do that. Okay.
Absolutely. If you got a problem, come see me.
And what's amazing to me, the bigger picture here, if he didn't want to be with the Giants, there's a way he could have played this out and gotten out of New York. Khalil Mack got out of Oakland when they didn't want to pay him. You could do something to voice your displeasure privately and get out of there, but he signs the contract and commits.
I don't think it was the fact that he wanted to get out. I think when you invest that type of money from an organization standpoint, you want that guy to be all in. If he's not your leader, at least he has to be more of a positive influence in that locker room. And we saw Sterling Shepard, pouting, throwing helmets and doing things like that. He has to understand the power of his celebrity, whether it's outside the locker room or inside the locker room.
But that's what they were worried about, too. That's why they waited to pay him. They were worried that once they paid him, he was going to get worse.
Well, that was the consternation leading up to it, and then he got hurt last year, so it tabled the conversation for a little bit. It's an interesting spot for Pat Shurmur. You have to handle New York. It's your first time in this situation as a head coach in New York. The team is now 1-4. You play the Super Bowl champs, who are a little bit desperate because they're 2-3 on a short week on a Thursday night, and you've got all this bubbling up. Just having grown up in New York and watched coaches deal with the media, because it is different. You have 7, 8 newspapers, the columnists, the beat writers there. It's very competitive. I thought he did a really good job after the game of just trying to cut this thing off before it could fester even deeper.
And I think they benefit from the short week, too, because it's not like the players are going to have a lot of opportunities to talk to the media and vent. They have to focus on getting ready for Philly.
But they still have to answer questions, and that's one thing that coaches,
talking point all week.
Coach Belichick used to always tell us, don't say anything where your teammates have to answer questions about you.
And now that's the challenge. Can Pat Shurmur get the teammates to keep the wagon circled? So far, it feels like he's pulled it off, but they're traveling back from Carolina. I think a lot of the guys, they know he apologized on Saturday night, but they still don't know what he's apologized for. Once they see what he said, they may feel differently.
It could definitely linger on to Thursday night when they play.
Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll see if they can get it under control, and we'll see you all next week.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.